was because I went down there and talked to the maintenance men. Without that, they wouldn't have came. They didn't come all week. That week that I was without a toilet, I sat there in my room after class waiting on somebody to show up because they continued to tell me that somebody would show up. Nobody ever came. So the first night my toilet clogged, overnight it flooded my room. So I had to clean up the septic that came out of my toilet by myself because they would not answer the emergency numbers. They have 3 of them. They don't answer any of them. And then with that, it just took a week. I didn't have a toilet for a week. I couldn't use the restroom at night because I don't have a toilet. If my roommates went home for the weekend, I didn't have anywhere to use the restroom because the office isn't done, so I can't go into the office and use the bathroom. I had to go across the street to Brookside to use the bathroom. That's a problem. And this just shows their negligence in fixing something that is an emergency, which is my toilet. Thank you.
Kathleen Wilmore.
Hello, my name is Ethelene Wilmore, and I am a candidate for Commissioner, Precinct 4, Waller County. Most of you in here probably can't vote for me, but hopefully you have some family members in that area, in the Berkshire area, and Patterson. So if you can, or Sunnyside, maybe they can come out and vote. I'm a write-in candidate. I know we have some things that need to be changed in that area, just like these students are having problems. We have problems over there too, We have streets that need repairing. We have bridges, roads that have been closed. We have ditches that are sitting with stagnant with water. That's a real health concern for me because I'm a nurse and I know that, West Nile is real. And so these things have to change, and I'm hoping that if you will encourage your family members, your friends to come out and vote that straight ticket Democrat, and then go on down and write in the write-in candidates, which is me, write in, and it's going to be Ethel, E-T-H-E-L, and then Wilmore with 1 L, W-I-L-M-O-R-E. Thank you.
Dr. Maddox.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Mr. Mayor, City Councilman, City Councilwoman, and residents of Prairie View and all the other city officials. And I see elected officials, the Constable and Party Chair Harris, and I see so many candidates who are running. Also, I see officers of the Waller County Democratic Club, and I see the club members. This is a very august body, and you are all very impressive. My name is Denise Maddox, and I'm running as the Democratic candidate for Waller County Judge. You probably, maybe some people know me here because of my continual presence in the courthouse, and I send out community robocalls about what is going on in the courthouse. You may know me because I am practically the perennial president of the Waller County Democratic Club. You may know me because I am all over campus every day, all day, doing deputy voter registration, also up and down the county, the south side, the new subdivisions, and everywhere else. I have platform issues that I don't have the time to delineate at this time, but I do have a website, and it's www.maddox4judge.com. If you have a question and you want me to answer something, I will answer it on my website so that everyone will see exactly where I stand on the issues that are important to us in the community. All I can say in general for now is that this is my candidacy announcement, and what I have been seeing is the Commissioner's Court is distancing itself from the cities, and I want to see the Commissioner's Court support the cities more, especially Prairie View. My name is Denise Maddox. I'm running for Waller County Judge. I'd appreciate your consideration and perhaps your vote.
Urban Bryant.
Good evening, all. Of course, respect and thank you for the time from the City Council. Thank you all for being here and for your ear. I'll try to keep it brief. I only have 3 minutes. Basically, 3 points about Panther Hill. So I am Brian saying to you, holding 2 offices that are in interest to what we're doing here today. I am the president of the Panther Party, which is an organization on Prairie View's campus, and I work for the state of Texas as the student reaching to the Texas A&M system. These are relevant because Panther Hill is a wholly unique and inexcusable offense to the people who live here and the people who pay taxes here, the students who go here. Regardless of who was to blame, that's not really important to us as of yet. Just fixing these problems is incredibly important, as has been expressed by the students who came here to complain and give their comments today. So again, across 11 universities and 7 state agencies, 160,000 plus students. This is a wholly unique issue. Housing crises happen all across the state of Texas. This particular type of incident, unprecedented, right? Across the Texas A&M system, across the state of Texas, it's never been seen before. So any argument that says that this is typical, no, it's not. Any argument that says that this is something that's part of the course for Prairie View, if it is that may be believable. I may understand that. I used to live in pretty poor housing around the corner here, but are we not better than that? Do we not want for ourselves and for each other something better than that? And regardless of whether or not it's part of the course, it's still wrong. If people get murdered every day and I murder somebody, I'm still a murderer, right? So it being commonplace doesn't make it any better. So that's first thing. We recognize that this is wrong. Second is that there are thousands of dollars, maybe tens of thousands of dollars of damages being done to students. Legal action is being taken by individuals, and then there are talks of class action lawsuits. So we're looking in the Panther Party and other organizations to rectify that wrong. And then basically these students are being taken advantage of, right? And that's the kind of thing that community activists like myself, folks in the Panther Party that we see here today, and you who are all here, engaged members of the city, this won't stand for. So these are students, black people mostly, here to make their lives better. The purpose of the city, for as far as I know, and the purpose of the university is to make the lives of disadvantaged people better. And this does not do that. This is actually antithetical to that kind of idea. This, we won't stand for by any means. So if it means somebody in government, if it means somebody in the private development, regardless, whatever has to be done right, we'll do that. We'll take the action to do that. I hate to throw around people's quotes, but by any means necessary. And yeah, and I try to keep it light, in my demeanor, but it's very heavy. I invoke the heaviest book that I know. So from the Bible, Psalm 103, verse 6, I believe this is. The Lord works righteousness and justice for all of the oppressed, and I'll let that be the final word.
Ronald Everett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, the City Council, and to the citizens. I'm going to try to be brief tonight. I have about 4 points that I would like to express. Number one, first of all, I hope this is the last time that I come. At least it is going to be the last time that I come requesting that the city trim the trees. And I want to appeal to the buses that pick up students on Hollyhock Street, as well as the garbage truck and the other cars that are being damaged as the trees are over the street. I think this is the 3rd or 4th time that I've come asking for help with this for our neighbors and for the ingress and egress of automobiles coming down that particular street. I realize that we have already spent some $14,000 to $16,000 emergency, and I would like to call this an emergency. So I think that since that we can do things under certain emergencies, I think that we could call that an emergency. I would appreciate the city council taking an emergency stand as related to that. Another item that I'm concerned about is the length of meetings. I called your attention I think at the last meeting that a lot of the items that, if you look at items A through F, I think a lot of the items that you, several of the items that you have on your council agenda could be consent items. I think if any of you have gone to other council meetings or commission court, you notice that the meetings are really streamlined, because a lot of the items that you vote on, in terms, unless you have something specific to say that relates to changing something on a particular item, I think that all of those items could be done in one group under that selection. Another one is, I'm concerned about citizen comments. I'm not sure that citizen comments are included in the minutes. I mean, it makes sense to me that if all of the comments that I hear the citizens make have become to speak to the council about the concern that we have, I don't think that the comments are added to the minutes so that you will know what the citizens are requesting or concerned about. If that is done, I withdraw the request, but if it's not included, I know that in the past we have included citizen comments in the minutes, and I hope that you will consider adding if you don't do it now. I'm concerned about listed on the agenda, I see documented mayor's report. And I see that all of you have several items that you list for the mayor that you have reported on. But I see only council's report, but I don't see anything documented as to what they're going to report on. So I'm wondering why they don't get an opportunity, or why they're not requested to document so that the citizens will at least could be able to take something in writing that the council members have as a request, so that they can mull over, and maybe they have some comment or some assistance as it relates to that. So with that, Mr. Mayor and the City Council, I appreciate you hearing me, and thank you.
Latoya and Terry.
Hi, so I'm Latoya, I'm the assistant manager of Panther Hill Apartments.
And I'm Terry, I'm the property manager of Panther Hill Apartments. The biggest thing we wanted to do is available for you guys. Honestly, I see a lot of unfamiliar faces, and maybe your work requests haven't been addressed. We're just here to offer solutions. At this point, we probably close out the majority of the work requests. So honestly, I challenge you guys to find an outstanding work request, especially issues of mold, AC. These are no-brainers. Bring your issues directly to us. We'll be happy to address them. Anything else? Just putting a name to the face. We were trying to take good notes on people who had outstanding issues. If you have anything else, just bring it to the office.
Yeah, and I mean, if it goes days, 24 hours, and it hasn't been resolved, let us know. We can't do nothing if we don't know, and you guys are taking it to social media, and we don't know. Bring the issues directly to us. We're always available to talk, and we'll be able to address them as quickly as possible.
And always willing to talk. Understand we have 704 residents with a lot of the same issues. So if you're a little bit of patience from you guys, I hate to quote the financial aid office, but if you give us a little time to get to you, we'll make sure we get your issues resolved, okay?
All right.
We're always willing to talk to you guys. Okay? Questions?
Kendall Chalk.
Okay. How y'all doing? I'm Kendall Chalk. I actually serve as Mr. Prairie at A&M University. So on a positive note, later next month, later this month, the university and students of the university and city council will come together to kind of bridge the gap between the community and the students. They'll be through an initiative called Protect the Village, and we'll have there'll be 3 weeks of programming and events, which will be focused on history, social networking, and service. I'm directly over the service portion of it, and so if there are any areas in the community that we're cleaning up or attending to, please do not hesitate to contact me or contact City Councilmember Wallace. Let us know, and we'll be out there. We want to work with y'all, not just all the students going out there, but we want to really get out there, get to know y'all, and work with y'all on those projects. So let us know, and we're eager to work with y'all. Thank you.
Dr. Vita Brown.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, and the wonderful citizens of Prairie, and everyone else. I wanted to just come to you today to let you know, or remind you, I'm specifically talking to City Council right now, remind you that being an elected official carries a lot of power, But at the same time, there's a lot of responsibility that goes with it. And I think it's important that you make sure that when people are following you and you're leading people, that you're leading them in the right direction. For example, if there's an issue, and I know that you all are very zealous and enthusiastic and willing to help and support all members of the community, but I think it's a good idea, and I mentioned this before, to have a council of senior citizens, advisory council, who can give you some wisdom and some insight into the complexity of some of these issues. Because sometimes it looks like on the surface a good idea to run after this and do this, but then you don't see all of the barriers and obstacles and complications and complexities that go along with that. So you end up leading people into a ditch rather than to the mountaintop. So all I'm saying is make sure that along with your zeal to do what's right for the citizens, you use wisdom and insight. Get as much information as you can about an issue. There are people who have been here for years and years, even me, as old as I am. There are people, senior citizens out here in the audience, I'll go to just to vent or get information from. They can give you information, insight, so that you won't be running off a cliff. And then when you run off a cliff and you're a leader, guess who's right behind you? The people that are following you. So I just want to make sure that you understand clearly, and I know you do, I'm just reiterating the point. With power, you say, oh yeah, we got all this power, we can do this and we can do that. But with that power comes responsibility. And make sure that you use wisdom and insight. And I know at least one of y'all are Holy Ghost filled. I'm not going to look so y'all wouldn't know what I'm talking about. But one of y'all is Holy Ghost filled. Use wisdom of God in your guidance of people. Thank you.
Item number 1, consider and take action for approval of the meeting minutes for special city council meeting on August 18, 2018. What's council's pleasure?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Jones.
move that we accept the meeting minutes for August 18th, special city council meeting.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that council accept the meeting minutes for the special city council meeting on August 18, 2018. You've heard the motion, ready for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed have the same right? Ayes have it. Item 2, consider and take action for approval of the meeting minutes for the regular city council meeting on August 27, 2018. What's council's pleasure?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Jones.
I move that we accept August 27th, regular city council meeting minutes.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that council accept August 27th, regular city council meeting minutes. You've heard the motion, ready for the questions. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed have the same right? Ayes have it. Item 3, consider and take action for approval of the meeting minutes for the regular city council meeting on September 10, 2018. What's council's pleasure?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Randall.
I move that we approve meeting minutes for the regular city council meeting on September 10th, 2018.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that council approve the regular city council meeting minutes on September 10, 2018. You've heard the motion, ready for the question. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed have the same right? Ayes have it. Item 4, discuss, consider, and take action to approve disaster recovery and HMGP application and administrative services. Nick Houston with project management, would you come forward and share with council and the residents exactly what that is?
I'm Nick Houston with Public Management, and this is our administration proposal to administer the city's allocation related to the Hurricane Harvey. Disaster funding through GLO. This is, the city got allocated $742,016 as part of the first round of the $5 billion funding that came to the state because of Hurricane Harvey, and the city got allocated again $742,000, and this is our administration proposal to administer those funds.
And Ms. Dickey, we posted this, and what was the result of the posting?
Yes, sir. We posted it, we sent to the list that was attached to that posting, and out of that, Public Management was the only one that came back with a proposal.
Council, and I think for the benefit of the council too, because we got some folks here, there are a couple other projects that your company has and is assisting us with, and I think it would be good for the folks to hear and for the council to know that background.
Okay. Well, again, to give you a little bit more update on these funds, the state is still going through their action plan, which should be approved here on the state level in the next couple of weeks. They send that off to HUD. They have 60 days to review and approve that. Around that time, we think the actual applications for the grant will come out in December. They'll probably do around March, April, and then those projects would actually get started next summer.
So for clarification, we haven't submitted an application
Y'all-
yet because it hasn't come down from the feds yet.
Y'all have been allocated the 742, and it's just a matter of just submitting a qualifying application, and you're going to get that $742,000, which the city can use for a variety of things: water system improvements, drainage improvements, street improvements, sewer improvements, things of that nature. But whatever the city decides to use those funds for, it has to be tied back to Hurricane Harvey. So.
Council?
Two questions. One, the posting had September 11th. Who received the posting?
The posting was in the paper. It was posted in the newspaper. Then see the list behind it that says sent to, those.
All right, and so I guess, so these right here, so all these, we sent the bid proposal or RFP to these companies, to all these companies.
I believe it was most of them on that list. There's a certain amount you have to hit. And Nick,
Yeah,
you know
you got to at least email 5 firms.
You have to email at least 5 firms, and some of them have to be minority firms, some of them have to be women-owned. There's a certain percentage you have to do.
Who did that for us?
I did. I sent the emails out. I can forward the emails if you'd like.
No, I just wanted to make sure we follow the process, just asking if we follow the process.
Right.
Thank you.
Council Randall?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the disaster recovery and HMGP application and administrative services.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that council approve the disaster recovery and HMGP application for administrative services. And can you accept the friendly amendment with project management?
With Nick Houston, project.
Second.
Public.
Yes, sir.
Public management?
Yes.
Public.
Public.
Public management.
Okay, you've heard the motion and the friendly amendment with Nick Houston is here representing public management. You've heard the motion, ready for the questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed have the same right? Let the record show. Unanimous? Yes.
Can we let can we update the minutes on the website to show that it's public management, not private management?
Sure, we'll correct those minutes. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Item 5, discuss and take action on non-emergency EMS services to the city of Prairie View. Terrence Bailey with Momentous EMS. So, Mr. Bailey, for the benefit of council and the residents, you tell them who you are and what it is you're proposing to do, and then we'll see what questions council has.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor and council members and citizens. I am requesting letter of authorization to be a non-emergency EMS provider in the city of Prairie View, which will provide, we'll be providing skilled nursing facilities, hospitals, dialysis center, wound care facilities, private residents, chemo, radiation treatment, any services that require medical monitoring, or any patient that is bedridden or non-ambulatory. And due to the growing elderly population here that is underserved, we feel like it's a need. A little bit about myself. I grew up in Houston, graduated from Prairie View. I have family in Hempstead and Prairie View. Been a firefighter for the city of Houston for 20 years, been an EMT for 20 years. I've ran an EMS company before in Houston. Served in the U.S. Air Force, 2 years active and 2 years reservist. And that's a little bit about myself.
Councilman Jones.
My question would be, where exactly will you set up these services?
You got to set up services and transport to it.
We transport from any facility that we contract with or that calls us.
So you say you're a non-emergency ambulance company, so you drive an ambulance, but it's
Non-emergency, the difference between non-emergency and emergency. In Houston, people call 911 all the time, and they call for a direct admit to the hospital. That's not an emergency. So what we try to do is provide services that take the burden off of the 911 system. And all these services that we provide is covered by private insurance, Medicare, Medicaid, or self-pay. And it's non-emergency because we don't go with lights and sirens. We don't run. We don't need to get it. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, we don't need to get any type of clearance to run because we don't run with lights and sirens. That's the difference.
Are y'all on a transportation service? So like if somebody, we have a lot of elderly here in Prairie View, they don't drive and they need to go to the doctor, you will come pick them up?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So is there a cost associated to the city?
Not to the city, no. It's covered by private insurance, Medicare, Medicaid, or private pay.
So, I talked to you on the phone. One of the questions I had was your independent business who wants authorization to operate your company EMS services in the city of Prairie View for non-emergency, is that correct?
That's exactly right.
How are we going to distinguish to make sure residents don't call your company for ambulance services when they need to be calling 911 or vice versa? How do you communicate that distinction?
Well, again, I've worked in the private EMS sector for almost 20 years. When people call us, it depends on what they're calling for. If they tell me that they have shortness of breath or they having chest pains, I'm going to tell them to call 911 because 911 will get there quicker than I will. And if they call for a direct admit or a doctor's appointment, then we go in and we provide those services. So it basically takes a burden off the 911 system.
So I just kind of want to understand how it works. So somebody calls you, they have a doctor's appointment in advance and says, hey, I need transportation to this location, and then you come and pick them up and you transport them to the location.
That's correct.
And you bill their insurance?
We bill, yes, sir. Private insurance, Medicare, Medicaid, whatever they have.
So is it typically set up in advance of the call or at that time?
Honestly, some situations there might not be immediate emergency call. Say somebody's been having an aching back and they need to go to the ER. We'll service that as opposed to them calling 911. Because in Houston, that's what we get all day long. Somebody who's had a headache for 3 weeks and they call it at 2 a.m. So that's when you call a private ambulance company. Yes, ma'am.
And I want to make sure I understand, because like a lot of the elderly have like health springs. Health springs, they use like this taxi company.
Yes, ma'am.
Out of Houston that comes to Prairie and pick up different people, take them to Houston and bring them back. what I wanna know is, will this service be available for people who are, you know, able to walk, have a walking cane, might have a walker? Can they use your service to go to?
Now,
Or not?
in those instances, they would have to pay out of pocket because insurance or Medicare would not pay for services unless they require a stretcher.
Okay, okay, that's what I want to know, okay.
Councilman Jones?
I'm somewhere in the middle of like wanting to hear like how citizens, once this decision affect them more than it affect us, for you to hold some kind of town hall or workshop instead of workshop with our citizens, and basically asking you to come back for a later date, hold a workshop with our citizens to see if it would be affordable, and if it's something that's beneficial to them, to allow them to publicly speak out upon this matter.
That's fine.
So the understanding I have is that you're requesting that the city give you approval to have a non-emergency EMS company in the city that would run in the city of Prairie View. So you can, once you get this letter, you would then take this letter in a packet and apply to the state to get the permit.
Yes, sir.
And so with this letter, just like, so for the example we have from like Missouri City, would you mind talking to, it says, has our city attorney reviewed, has the attorney reviewed this and the fire chief reviewed this? Because in the city of Prairie View, we are in Waller County, and taxpayers pay into the ESD. Now the ESD, again, for most of you know, for those ambulance services that goes directly to the hospital, a percentage of that is paid through your taxes. This has nothing, this is no connection, but the two questions I have, I just want to make sure that he talks to the city attorney and he talks to the fire chief, before we move, before we give their approval. Now, there's no cost to the citizens in the city of Prairie View, but he does need the city of Prairie View's approval to be able to run, because it's a business. If for those who don't know, he wants to operate his EMS business in Prairie View, but before he can operate that, he has to go, he's going through a step process. And so the only two questions I have is that the attorney review the letter that we're going to put on file, and that you talk to the fire chief.
Yes, sir.
Councilman Jones?
I move that we schedule a workshop with Mr. Terrence Bailey, with citizens, as well as city attorney and fire chief at a later date.